I wanted to make this video real quick to talk about veterans. Veterans are very important, and it's very hard whenever you first get out of the military and you are completely alone. It's one thing to be in another country and then to come back and have to reintegrate into the United States, in my case Japan, and then it's another thing on top of that to have been integrated into this team or club, most of which who are 18, 17 whenever they go in, and then to come back out, as your mind is still developing and thrown back into the civilian world. Now, some people can adapt to that. They're pretty good at that. They had a good experience in the military and they just have the right mindset. They're good with the adjustment. Whenever I was getting out, there was a guy who was talking to me and he said, for you, man, it'll be like a snapback. You'll just click right back in, pick up where you left off. It just never happened for me like that. I had fallen in love with Japan. I also had not a very good experience in the Navy. On top of wanting to do more and wanting to look back on something that I was proud of in the Navy. I didn't really do anything special. On top of, layers on top of, I worked with some of the worst people on the planet. I tell people that some of the best people I've ever met, and I believe that some of the best people who exist in the world are in the military. Unfortunately, the flip side to that is that some of the worst people that exist are also in the military. And I dealt with a lot of those nasty, terrible people. People ask me if I enjoyed my time in the Navy, and I tell them that it was 99% terrible and 1% good. But that 1% I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. When you get out of the military, it can be very suffocating and it can be very isolating, even if you have a spouse, and that can put strain on a relationship. Veterans need other veterans. Whether you are just getting out, or you're getting out, or you've been out for decades or years. It's been 10 years since I got out of the Navy. That's crazy. It's ridiculous. And it's been a bumpy ride. You guys are important. You're very important. And I'm not sure how accurate statistics are of veteran suicides, but it makes me absolutely proud to be an American, but it makes me proud to be part of that tribe. If there's one thing I learned in that, I am part of a tribe, and I'm very proud of that, regardless of not being entirely proud of what I did in the military, wanting to do more, etc., etc. I am forever part of a tribe, and it doesn't matter what your rate, what your rank, what your MOS, what your branch, if you were special operations, if you were a grunt, if you were an airman. Sometimes coasties can be a bit weird. I'm just joking. I love Coast Guard. It doesn't matter. You're all in the same boat. I felt for a while inferior to combat veterans, but I spoke to one dude, 3 wars, 4 tours, you know what I mean? But we just fucking mesh. Camaraderie goes beyond simply combat. It's about, as corny as it sounds, brothers in arms. It's about guys who were there, you know what I mean? It sucks, you don't want to be there and you're serving your country, it's not always a pretty job over 90% of the time, and these guys get it, they get it. I can sit in silence with these guys and know exactly what they're saying, as opposed to sitting with these civilians, and I'm not bashing all civilians, it's just these guys were kind of freaking weird. Sitting with civilians and them just I don't know what the problem is, and it's and you never will. You'll never know what the problem is. It doesn't matter if you went to Harvard or Yale or Stanford. It doesn't freaking matter what your Ivy League education is. You'll never understand a veteran. You'll never understand them, not unless you served yourself. I just want to finish by saying that veterans need other veterans. I want to make this video real quick, and yes, this is for affiliate marketing. I'm not trying to be a sellout.
Hey, what the hell is that? I trained you to be a fighter, not a billboard.
I'm doing it for a friend.
What do you get out of it? Paulie gets $3,000, I get the rope. Shrewd.
In all honesty, I came across this site called System.io, like ClickFunnels, but about 10 times cheaper. I'm going to put a link in the description below where you can go and check it out. I've always been interested in ClickFunnels, but it's always been freaking expensive. I mean, if you go on their site and you look at how expensive it is, it's kind of ridiculous. ClickFunnels is actually free. Obviously, there's catches to everything. You're like, well, why is it free? You get access to be able to create a course. If you want to upgrade, I think it's like maybe like $20 or $24.99 a month. But compared to ClickFunnels, that's outrageous. Like I said, I'm going to leave the link here for you so you can go in and look at it and just check it out. It's actually pretty cool. There's something about System.io. It's very honest and transparent, and I have a thing about honesty and transparency. They're like, this is what we got, and this is what's going on. And if you're interested in ClickFunnels, it's too expensive for you, check out System.io. I don't think that you'll be disappointed with it. I think it's actually pretty cool.